Welcome back for another video. Who are the best players to buy for GW6? Some of you are wildcarding even, so who are the best wildcard picks? We'll break it down as always by position, nice and simple, and we'll discuss the key players in the conversation. I was on the official FPL podcast with Harry this morning, which was very enjoyable. If any of you like podcasts, I'll link it below once it's out. I've calmed down with a bug, hopefully you can't tell too much, the show must go on. Let's get into it, and we'll start off with the keepers. The stand-up fixture this week is Arsenal playing home against Leicester, which puts Raya top of the table on 4.4 points. Then of course they play home again against Southampton in Game Week 7, and then Bournemouth away Game Week 8. After that, a bit tougher against Liverpool and Newcastle. So for the next 5, that puts Raya top of all the keepers on 19.8 points. Ederson further down the list here for Game Week 6 deserves a mention on 19.7 projected points. I suppose the consideration with Raya and Ederson is the defender counterparts. You've got Gabriel and Saliba for Arsenal, whereas with Man City it's Vardy, maybe Lewis, and then the rest you never know 100% if they'll miss a random game. And they don't have that attacking upside, but none of the City defenders are nailed. Vardy is probably going to be the most nailed moving forwards, but my preference is Raya and an Arsenal defender, and then possibly one of Vardy or Lewis rather than going Ederson. So let's discuss the other keepers then. Flecken's looking like the best 4.5 mil keeper now. He's on 3.6 points this week, but 17.4 for the next 5. And there is a fixture swing here to potentially take advantage of. They've got West Ham home, Wolves home, Man United away, Ipswich home, Fulham away. No keeper's got more saves than Flecken this season with 28, which in a way is a good thing and also a bad thing. The opponents have been getting lots of shot at them, so lots of save points, but to be fair they have faced Spurs, City and Liverpool so far. You'd expect fewer saves moving forward, but high clean sheet potential. So if I had to pick a 4.5 mil keeper, it'd be Flecken, with Valdemarsson as backup, which gives you a guaranteed keeper. One combination that's gone really under the radar is Flecken and Muric. If you're wildcarding and you've got Flecken and Valdemarsson, for an extra 0.4 mil, Muric gives you a run of West Ham home, Wolves home, Everton home, Ipswich home, Leicester home, Bournemouth home, Everton away, Leicester home, and so on. I won't read the whole list as it goes on for a while, but it's a good fixture run, and those of you watching will see it. Actually, something I don't really mention is I upload all my videos on Spotify as well and other podcast platforms, in case you prefer listening to the audio. Anyway, the ticker screenshot here is from Scout, link below for the tool. Sales is also worth a mention for 4.5 mil, 17 projected points for the next 5, so he's marginally behind Flecken. And Forest are third for expected goals conceded after 5 game weeks with 4.05 XGC. Only Man City and Liverpool fared better. So Pickford's fallen down to 4.8 mil and he's on 16.7 points. Despite how terrible they've been, you've got to back Dyche to turn it around at some point. He always seems to somehow. We'll talk about the Everton defence next, so let's move on to defenders. So, given Arsenal's fixture this week, Gabriel tops the table with 5 points, Saliba 4.8 and White 4.5. Gabriel is my favourite. He's scored 16 Premier League goals now, 14 have been off a corner, and that's 2 and 2 for him off corners now. Arsenal's such a threat with these corner routines. Now White was benched for the chaotic game against City with a reported knock, but he did come on in the second half, so it couldn't have been a serious one, and he'll surely be back in the team Game Week 6, but I can't justify the extra 0.5 mil for him currently. Timber's been very good and he can play right back, plus Calafiori was excellent in his first league start in left back, so there's a lot of competition for the fullback spots. Trent's on 4.6 projected points this week, finally delivering on his underlying numbers with an assist against Bournemouth for an 11 pointer after a clean sheet and bonus as well. My wildcard is active and he's one of the biggest headaches for me. I desperately want to keep him, but going without him does free up the money for Palmer. He really could be one of those rare staple picks in FPL though, where you leave him in your team all season and he finishes on about 180 points, wouldn't surprise me at all. Let's talk about the City defenders then. Vardy's the only one on the table here. Akanji is actually the only City defender that's played every minute. Lewis came off at half-time Game Week 4, unused sub in Game Week 5, and obviously Vardy's been benched once as well. That all said, despite Lewis's benching, I do wonder if he's going to be favoured against some of those easy upcoming oppositions, as he's brilliant on the ball compared to Walker, and he can help break down defences. Plus there is that chance of early team use in Game Week 6, 7, 10 and 11. So Vardy's my favourite of the City defenders if you've got the money. On the one hand, Ake's injury does mean less competition. On the other hand, perhaps he gets his minutes managed a bit. Conser makes the table with 3.4 points away Ipswich next game week. So who are some of the other notable budget defenders then? Colwell isn't in my thinking on the wildcard. He's got 2 clean sheets on the bounce, he's played every minute this season, he's home to Brighton and home to Forest, and then the fixtures do turn to be fair. If we don't have Flecken, then Collins for 4.5 mil works as well. He's got 2 home games against West Ham and Wolves next, and there's Aina from Forest 4.5 mil. And as we said earlier, third best defence for XGC so far this season, good games on the horizon, reportedly about to sign a new long-term contract. So with these players, just check which ones work in terms of your defender rotations if you need them. And then at Ipswich, there is Davies, who's on corners and some free kicks for 4.5 mil, and there's also Greaves for 4 mil. Mosquera would have been my top 4 mil defender this week, but his unfortunate injury last match could rule him out for a while. Now Mikalenko's dropped to 4.3 mil last night. He missed the last game of illness. If you're trying to squeeze out as much value as possible, he is one to look at in my opinion. He is home to Palace, which isn't terrible but not the best. But in a few weeks' time, they've got Ipswich, Fulham and Southampton. Plus they've got players like Branthwaite returning from injury imminently. Make no mistake, Everton's defence has been shocking, but things can change. Much like they did last season, to be fair, when Everton started really poorly. On to the midfielders, and for Game Week 6, Saka tops the table with 7.4 points, and then Salah on 6.9. Salah's been an absolute lock for me on the wildcard. He's returned in every game this season, plus he's got Leicester home, and then he's got Southampton. The Saints, by the way, have conceded 24 chances down their left flank, which is the highest in the league. Could spell a lot of success for Saka, and he's even a captaincy contender this week as well. Maybe it's just me, but Saka feels like someone that ticks along a lot, but he doesn't often come up with the huge returns that you get from Salah and Haaland for comparison, but he always finishes the season well on total points. The penalties and corners give Saka extra routes to points as well. I'd love to see Martinelli get back to his form of past seasons. 6.9 mil would be a crazy price, but it's not really a compromise I'm personally willing to take over Saka, or double defence, or even Havertz. Trossard of course suspended for Game Week 6 as well, following the red card. The next 5 Game Week projections suggest there's going to be some huge points on the horizon. We've got Saka, Salah, Palmer, Mbeumo, Bruno, Foden and Son, all over 26 projected points. Now Foden I'm steering well clear of until he's starting games regularly. Just 65 minutes this season. Obviously he did miss a couple of games of illness as well. But 230 points from 19 goals and 8 assists last season, we know what he's capable of and the fixtures are there. Mbeumo's price makes him pretty much irresistible on the wildcard for me, especially when you compare his projections and price to others around him. Shader would have been a tempting pick for 5.4 mil had he started in the first match without Vista, but he didn't. Carvalho did for 4.8 mil, but I'm not convinced he's totally nailed. I'd rather go for Rodgers for a bit extra money, or Semenyo for 5.6 mil. Or actually, Diblin's emerged for 4.5 mil with a well-taken goal last game week, and of course he did win a penalty against Man United the week before, which Archer didn't bury, so no assist. So on Semenyo then, he's taken 24 shots this season, only Haaland's taken more with 26, for almost triple the price. 3.11 XGI puts Semenyo above Mbeumo, Saka, Eze and Son this season, which really puts him into perspective as an awesome cheap player, playing home to Southampton and Leicester. Now the only consideration with Semenyo is from Game Week 8, Bournemouth have got Arsenal, Villa and Man City, which is brutal. Now I have looked at Wood as a third forward. He's got Palace home, Leicester away, West Ham home for that spell. And then Bournemouth's good fixtures are back on basically. Semenyo's on 4.6 points this week with 78 expected minutes, which is perhaps a bit harsh given that he's averaging 85 per match. If I knock him up to 85 minutes, that puts him on 5 projected points in FPL review. That's top of all midfielders priced 7 mil and below. So do you go Salah to Saka this week? It's a tight call for the sake of a 0.5 gain here. I'd do it if you're going to make a second move for a cheap defender like Gabriel or Henderson to Raya etc. Otherwise I'm not so sure if I would this week. I'm trying to squeeze Palmer, Saka and Haaland all in on my wildcard, which does require some cheap picks like Semenyo and Rodgers. Rodgers is on 4 projected points this week and good to start again. So Chelsea play Brighton at Stamford Bridge and they're going to be without Hurzel on the touchline after a red card in Game Week 5. Nuno's also going to miss their home fixture to Fulham after a red card himself from that match. On to the forwards then, and of course it's Haaland top again, 6.6 points this week. This makes captaincy an interesting one though. He's no doubt going to be the most popular choice, but Saka on 7.4 and Salah on 6.9 do provide good alternatives for upside chasing. It's hard to overlook Haaland though when he's averaging 2 goals a game with 10 goals in 5, and he's facing a Newcastle side that really haven't got going yet. A 3-1 defeat for Newcastle against Fulham on the weekend. 8.81 expected goals conceded puts Newcastle 15th best. They're averaging 2.8 big chances conceded per game, and Haaland only needs 1 ordinarily. In fact, Haaland's had 10 big chances and he's got 10 goals, though not all of those big chances were the ones he scored, mind. Havertz is second on the table with 5.7 points. I still think he can deliver it even if he ends up playing slightly deeper. Now Trossard's red card could equate to Jesus coming in up top, or maybe Jorginho in midfield and Havertz up top. It wouldn't put me off buying him anyway. Watkins is on 4.7 points and officially in form now with 3 goals and assists in his last 3 games. Certainly not too late to buy him given they're facing Ipswich next, who are rock bottom for expected goals conceded so far this season, though of course they have had to face some brutal teams. Solanke's made his way into my wildcard at the moment. Looking at the next 5, his 23.4 points puts him about even with Havertz for 0.6 more less, and second after Haaland overall. And against Brentford, Solanke registered 1.61 expected goals. He had 4 big chances. I'd much rather Gabriel Solanke than Pedro Porro and Havertz is another way of putting it. Lastly, Wood sits on 4.4 points this week. He took the penalty won by Hudson-Odoi last game, which does boost his appeal moving forward. We wondered if it might be Gibbs White on penalties. Now they've got a run of Fulham, Chelsea, Palace, Leicester and West Ham. Many feared that Awani could come in at some point and eat away at his minutes before the season has started, but it's not happened so far. And to be fair, I was one of those, so I got that one wrong. Awani was on the bench last match actually, but he was an unused substitute. Calvert-Lewin still represents good value for 6 mil. He's had a price rise again. He's on 4.2 points next game week, and the fixtures are turning on the horizon. Thanks very much for watching. Hit subscribe if this was helpful. My wildcard team will be out on Wednesday. See you soon for the next one.